Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 63, Xbox Game Showcase with me, George, and as always joined by Tom, Master Chief, to my Blinks. How's it going? Somebody tells me he might have used Blinks before, bless his cotton socks, but I thought I'd wheel it out as a representation of where you're at and where I fit in the world of Xbox. Gaming knowledge in general.
Yeah, Phil's come over here for a week.
Our producer has flown out to America to...
Yeah. He felt he was in hot water after the Soundover debacle with you. And my agent got him on the phone and he's come here with his tail between his legs.
That's not what he said when he got on the plane.
Well, he gives it the big man, but when he got here, he was taken down to being a very little man. The size of Wayne Ray, I would say.
Wow. Okay. If you're a fan of the show's lore or listen to any of the Series 1 episodes, you might know who Wayne Ray is.
Phil, bring me some Pinot Grigio.
Okay. Well, before Tom's ego takes too much control of the show, let's give the wave of new listeners, and we're lucky enough to have a wave, so let's hope Tom's not planning a lore-heavy show, a wave of new listeners on board from Japan, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Ireland, and we're bigger now in America than we are in the UK. Fact.
Come on, Zibiter, listen to Unofficial Controller Podcast.
Oh, wow. You're next level there with your language skills. Anyway, this wave of new listeners don't want to hear about your ego getting washed out for another show. Let's let them know how things are going to break down. So, Tom, coming up in the news, let me tell you, we've got a little bit of Yakuza news. Oh, you always find a way to sneak it in.
You do.
And a little bit of our red shoe sound-breaking friend news. So if you're into that, then buckle in, pal. The main meat in the sandwich of the show is obviously our breakdown of everything we saw at Xbox Game Showcase this past week. And then after that, we, through the medium of Stingray, and if you want to know who he is, you better listen into a couple of other shows, but he brings us the new release highlights for the week, and we pick out our favourite game from the hotly released games. Then the show ends when I ask Tom what he's hoping to play for the next gaming week. And the show can only begin. Odders, grip that wheel. Tom, what you been playing?
This week I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. As we discussed last week, we had a bit of a breakdown and a deep dive into a preview of the game. We've had it
called a wave of new listeners through that.
We did, yeah. It was a very popular feature, that one. So me and you have had the title about a week now, haven't we? And I think we're both at the same sort of stage. So we've just finished Act 1. So if you don't, there might be minor spoilers in here. If you don't want to know too much about it. As always,
the show's got chapter markers, so feel free to skip to the news if you don't want to hear any more about Ghost of Tsushima. But we're just to give people an idea whether they want to skip or not, we've both got to the end of Act 1 and the very early embryonic stages of Act 2. So, Tom?
Yeah?
Give us a roundup, friend.
Yeah, general roundup. Thoroughly impressed with it. I've grown to like it even more. I think the opening hour and a half, 2-hour prologue is almost like a different game to some extent. I started the game on hard mode. I've persevered through with it. Those early stages are actually harder now than it is. I find it quite straightforward with the difficulty.
I have to admit, now. When I started it and I was on medium, I was like, oh my goodness gracious me. But now I've got further in, as you have, and on medium, the calls from some of the wider community that it's a bit too easy, I think actually are true.
Ring true,
You become very overpowered in those early stages.
I think, once you start getting a lot of your abilities, the bow tends to cause a lot of the situations to become way more manageable. You can thin out the numbers of the enemies. I guess it's a nice nod to like you can go different routes. You can be more of the archer. You can be a full-on samurai, just walk up to the gates, or have the standoff mechanic, which we really love.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you do. I think it's excellent.
I do.
It feels a little bit. I wish there was a little bit more of an epic feel to when you first confront that first enemy. But we've got to remember these are like very basic NPC characters. They're not. I noticed the big one-on-one duels are a lot more climactic build up to them, with a lot more sort of special weather effects and things implemented.
Yeah, I think whenever I've done what we call a legendary one-on-one, I've been very impressed. Like in that sort of rescue of your uncle section with the
against Ryozo,
the floating candles in the pond is specifically nice, and some of the legendary missions where you go like Heavenly Strike, as I told you, was nothing short of amazing. The collection of the longbow with the demon brawl,
that was cool.
Was that absolutely brilliant?
Around.
Yeah, that looked great as well.
So, progressing well in that. Graphically, I really love it. I think I'll echo the sentiments of many where if you look close, scrutinise it quite a lot, it's nowhere near the level of detail as we saw in the E3 demo a few years ago. But as an overall, it is phenomenal. It's like a piece of Japanese art.
Obviously there's insane little details in there. When it rains and the way the water comes off the roofs and sort of flows then in the wind, and specifically the cloud and weather effects. And I watched that video where it was like, this isn't like the E3 trailer. And I guess for either to
but that's that you're talking, I think if you put this inside of a PS5, it's gonna and the upscale is good enough, I think it will look as good as that E3 demo. But
no, I don't. It's the animation of the assets that's actually been ramped down versus the unless they've got a whole new set of trees to load in, that's not going to go away. And this isn't me saying I don't like it. I absolutely love it. And much like the way you get a game and you buy the Japanese art and stick it on your wall, like with Red Dead, you had throws everywhere and a pair of pistols up on the wall. That's all been burnt now, and you've
replaced with a Bokken and
and one of those Serenity Sand Gardens.
Kimono.
Zen Garden, where you've done
to do my haiku.
Yes.
That's a cool feature, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the haikus are great. Some of it can be a bit generic, but it's nice to take time out of what can be quite a gory nod to samurai to reflect on the beautiful graphics and locations you presented with.
Well, that's what I'd say. It's a very peaceful game scattered with moments of violence. So it's quite a chilled experience. A lot of the time, it's free roaming.
On how your sword strike hits the body as well, the spray erupts in different ways. Like if you strike up, the blood flicks upwards. If you strike down, it spatters down. The different ways he cleans off his sword.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah. Did you know you can get the sword in and out by swiping right on the touchpad?
Yes, it took me a little while to figure out actually how to do that. And then left on the touchpad is the Japanese flute, which I've got a few songs for now.
Yeah, and I didn't realise that. Well, I knew you could bow, but I didn't realise there were these sorts of mini shrines you could bow at to get little Easter eggs. There's like a sign on a stick.
Yes, I did. Where I did that one, and there was a load of like butterflies or what are they called? Night flies.
Fireflies.
Fireflies, night flies. Ridiculous. They started swarming around me after I did it. So it's quite a cool little thing.
Yeah, I think you need to bow at all of them to get a trophy.
Have you seen the first party PlayStation game Easter egg?
I've seen
Do you know the one?
I've seen a picture of it.
The origami.
Yeah, but I've not. I didn't click on it because I wanted to try and find it organically myself. I thought, that's.
I know it's a shame sometimes when they plaster stuff like that on a website, and it's like, oh, thanks, glad I've seen that.
Slow news day.
Yeah, definitely. We have those, don't we?
We do.
Anyway,
everyone has a slow news day, friend.
That's all I've been playing. I had a couple of Call of Duty drops on Warzone, but yeah. So you have been playing Ghost of Tsushima as well?
Yeah, just to echo what you've said, really. I am. There's some times where I feel like sometimes I'd rather just be cruising around, and I wish, as always with me, I wish there was a few more life sim elements to it. There are some, but I wish there were more.
Yeah, I think it's like if you go down to a fishing village, it's like it's a shame you just can't pick up a rod and just stand there, do a bit of fishing. Or to be fair, like a lot of the time, I didn't do that much of those things in Red Dead, but it's nice to know they are there.
Yes,
I think just a few more of those would have been, like you say,
I also
nice,
I know we've spoken off air about this before the game's release, but I would really have liked to have seen, if you kill an animal, pressing R2 next to it or the bamboo, like maybe I'll be bored of actually watching him bend down and pick it up by now. But at the same time, why make it a mechanic where you have to collect items if you think that people might find it boring to collect items? I don't know.
I think they could have maybe done it more in like a trade situation, like you meet a merchant on the road or you go to a little Japanese village or whatever and you trade items and do it that way. I think harvesting materials, if you're going to do it, it's a difficult one because Red Dead, when you first play it, you're like, wow, that's great. He just skinned a bear and sold the skin, wrapped it up, put it on the horse. I mean, that detail is incredible. And I know a lot of people will do that time and time again, but there's a lot of people who play it. And I think this is what put people off with Red Dead. It's a very slow game. So you do those things over and over again, like you loot the bodies, like it's all very steady. And I think if you're like a life sim fan, such as yourself, I think that is fine. But the Sucker Punch kind of said they just wanted to make it quite quick.
Which just weighing up to keep that mechanic in or to ditch that mechanic, obviously that does limit the way you upgrade your armor or other bits and bobs within the game. You have to get those materials from somewhere, but collecting them in the wild,
I think
I mean, I'm not saying I don't want them, but I would rather have seen him sort of hack the bottom of it off and put it in a bag or something and put it on the horse or whatever it is. I don't make games. I just play games and talk about games on the internet. So my opinion's probably not worth anything to Sucker Punch, but more detail.
Yeah. But overall, there's some fantastic detail in there anyway. But we're always going to try and find little faults because no game's perfect. But I
played
think
a little bit more before I forget.
Amazing job.
I've played a little bit more with the Jedi Fallen Order. Finished Kashyyyk, the first part anyway, and thought...
Did you get the glitchy Wookiees?
They don't look very good, do they?
No. For a game that actually looks really good in places, they're pretty poor.
Look like the hair's made out of stained tomato spaghetti.
Did you do the big AT-AT bit?
Yeah.
I thought that was quite cool.
What, where you climb up it?
And you drive it?
Yeah, I thought that was quite cool. I didn't like the way Saw Gerrera pops in the top left, like the toasty guy from Mortal Kombat. I thought that was a bit strange. Like, toasty? Like, no, what are you doing there, Saw? But hey, again, overall, the overall vibe I'm getting from the game is very good. It's very fun. It's very
I'm glad you like
fast flowing at times. The combat initially seems a bit like, ooh, but once you get into it, and as I said to you on text the other night, it's exactly the same controls as Tsushima. Exactly the same controls. So
I think even the battles I enjoyed most in Fallen Order were ones where you're one-on-one with another enemy. I think they play the best. It just feels like a proper epic encounter. Whereas when you're just dispatching random bads, they're just dropping like flies, aren't they?
Yeah. Other than that, just obviously on the YouTube channel, on Official Controller Podcast, I try and do a daily stream and I've been doing a car mechanic simulator, which just seems to impress me more and more. I don't know as many people are that interested in watching it, but hey, do you know what? To keep it universal for all, you sometimes have to pick some of these left field games. It impresses me every single time I play it, to be honest with you, the level of detail. So I won't bore anyone with that. And then some more farming simulator in my private time, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. The depth that game's got, especially in a little multiplayer section, is incredible. So there you go.
Nice. We'll move on.
Well, we've limped like a samurai that's been in an awesome 1v80 battle into the news, Tom. We've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, I'm going to lead with this one. Yakuza is live, baby. It seems like Yakuza Like a Dragon has received an official release date, and Sony hasn't even decided to kick up a fuss about it. Available for pre-order on the PlayStation Store right now. The current gen version is going to come into PlayStation 4 on the 13th of November 2020. Don't forget, there will also be a PlayStation 5 version further down the line with an upgrade path available should you purchase the game on PS4. Well, I'll buy it on both, knowing me. We don't know if it'll be free yet, though. However, the PlayStation Store lists 3 different versions of Yakuza Like a Dragon, each bundling in more DLC in exchange for extra cash. At its height, the Legendary Hero Edition includes a job set, crafting mat set, a management mode set, karaoke set, ultimate costume set, and stat boost set DLC. That version will set you back $74.99, or if you're one of our American cousins, $89.99. So there we have it. The 8th mainline Yakuza entry featuring a brand new protagonist is officially dated for this November. Will you be bringing on these new turn-based battles? Let us know. Tom, bonus news, though. Big Phil's put his hand in his wallet over at Xbox, and he's paid for exclusivity locked to the new Series X of the upgraded next-gen version, which is why the PS5 will just be backwards compatible with the original PS4 Yakuza Like a Dragon, whereas it won't be getting enhanced visuals supplied by the next-gen console. So, interesting news. I hope the Xbox... I don't know how big a fan community Yakuza's got, but it's certainly to reward Big Phil and Sega. I really want the Xbox boys to gather round that, because I don't want it to be a wasted opportunity, if that makes sense. If they're bringing you something as premium as that, in my eyes, and probably not everyone will agree, but yeah, I mean, that's a big win to play that with enhanced visuals. I mean, I don't know what enhanced visuals means, but it looks pretty good already. Like what they would do to enhance it, I don't know, but I'm sure we'll find out further down the line. But at least that's been PlayStation specific since the PS2 era. Now, I know Games Pass got Yakuza 0 from memory, which is an absolutely cracking installment in the franchise. But to lock in the upgraded version of Yakuza Like a Dragon, I think is awesome. I'm not so keen on the DLC with the job set, crafting mat set, management mode set, karaoke set, ultimate costume set, and stat boost. I'm not going to be getting the digital version anyway. I'll be getting the physical version. When I saw it had gone live on PS Store, I went to Amazon, but it really just felt like a load of chances listing the game, and it wasn't a genuine Amazon listing. I couldn't really find anything that looked legit, so I'll check that again later and obviously update you and the fans next week. But yeah, a bit disappointed there. I want the physical version. You know, for $74.99 physical, I'd probably quite like a steelbook. But
yeah,
hey,
definitely.
You know, we get what we get, don't we?
We do.
What's your thoughts on that? Any of that I've just told you, including the bonus news?
I think that I agree with you. I hope it's well received on Xbox. It only just makes it even more beneficial for the company who make the game to just get it out there in more hands, more people play it, the more successful it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the more money they acquire for the next one in the series. So yeah, I think that'd be good for Xbox owners to get their hands on it. I should probably dabble in it, really. I'd probably like it from what you've told me about the series over the time.
One of the Yakuza games recently had gone on, was your PlayStation Game of the Month. So I'm sure you must have added that to your library, or probably if it's not Call of Duty, you're not interested. Yeah, absolutely.
I am mainstream.
Swine, I know.
Phil brings me a white wine spritzer and the latest DLC for EA games. That's the sort of man I am.
You are the heel of the show. Seeing as you're the heel of the show, why don't you read out the next line? What a wonderful link.
You are smooth. Grab your trainers, but don't rush. A few months ago, Paramount Pictures announced it was developing a sequel to the live-action family comedy Sonic the Hedgehog. Once again, Jeff Fowler will be directing, and Pat Casey and Josh Miller will be writing the script. Although the movie is still believed to be in the early development phases, according to Variety, Paramount has now gone ahead, locked in an official release date. Despite the coronavirus pandemic currently sweeping the globe, the film studio is confident it can get Sonic's movie sequel out the door by 8th of April 2022. As previously mentioned, a sequel is no surprise after the film's ending. It also managed to bank close to $210 million, just 10 days. That's pacing Detective Pikachu in box office earnings. That's pretty impressive, isn't it, for old Blue Blur?
Oh, yeah. The Blue Blur. Came in and... have you seen Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
No, I would like to, though. I think
from an adult's point of view, it's okay.
Okay, I might.
I wouldn't snap your spine to get your Barry Norman type eyes all over that anytime soon, because I think you'll feel a little bit sort of, especially seeing as you've been watching, when you can't play Tsushima, you've been watching samurai movies in your spare time. Predictable, if nothing else, Thomas.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the sequel might go a bit fan service as well, obviously, with certain other Sonic characters.
Well, without ruining it, there's...
I've seen.
You've seen, have you?
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I do. Look at
what's producer Phil doing to Lin Po, your Taiwanese cleaner in the background?
Lin Po's, she's gone. She's gone.
You've sacked her, or you've had to dispose of her body? Which one was it?
Back to Hong Kong.
Oh, okay, all right. That's what you're sticking to, is it? Fantastic.
Yeah.
When do you want to rise? She sounds like she's practicing some sort of painful yoga.
She's reciting a haiku from that I've shown her on Ghost of Tsushima.
Fantastic. Okay. Well,
it's for an advert for bamboo canes.
You've gone full into it, have you? So just so the fans understand, company. When lockdown happened, you got sort of trapped in your New York apartment and haven't made it back over here to England to record an episode in person for a while. You don't feel like you're safe to leave, but you made Phil come over there so you could sound good for an episode.
Absolutely. I wanted to test it out, really, and see whether he would be safe on the flight, and then anything
Does that mean that you might be coming home next episode?
Possibly. If anything happens to him, I see that as a win-win for me, because I assume full control again of the show.
Right.
If he survives, then I guess I'll have to come back. But I'll miss my time here. It's been interesting time.
It certainly has. Okay. Well, did we miss anything? Do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed? If so, Tom, how would the collected masses... How would they get in touch with us and let us know that we missed a massive we missed an Xbox game showcase, and why aren't we talking about? We got it in the feature, listeners, so just chill out. But if we missed the stealth drop of a brand new Sega console, or the fact that the Sega Dreamcast can cure blindness, Tom, how would the collected masses get in contact with us and let us know as we've missed this latest news drop, and let us know that we're an above average podcast at best?
Well, they can always let us know that. You can email us on questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. You can get in touch on Instagram or Twitter, direct message on there, or comment on the latest post of the week, which is usually we post one midweek to discuss or get your views and opinions on what we're going to do as the feature. And then we'll post another one to let you know the show is now out, and we hope you enjoy it. So yeah, it's always great to hear feedback of any description. If it's good, bad, we don't care. We just like to hear from you. So please get in touch. You can also join the Discord community if you wish, which is available.
If you're listening now and you've got to this point and you consider yourself a gamer, go defend your console of choice in the Discord. Saddle up, strap on your weapon of choice, and go wade into the Discord. The drop-down links in both of our social medias, Twitter and Instagram. We don't do Facebook. It's the scourge of the devil. I know we're Facebook and Instagram, but just hear me out here. Click on there. There's Linktree. Boom. It will take you to iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. It'll also take you to our Discord. Go wade in. I think we need some... I want to see some... I want to see some divisive comments in there. Come on, fire it up.
Yeah. Well, just careful, because Phil's a pretty powerful man in the US of A, but he's not quite as powerful as Mark Zuckerberg, so we have to be cautious. Even I'm afraid of him. He's like an alien.
Zuckerberg's not real. No, he's not a real human being, as far as I'm concerned. Man. Yeah, those clips of him. Have you seen the bad lip reading Mark Zuckerberg?
I haven't. He's given a lot of money to charity, though, bless him, so we shouldn't slate him too much, should we?
That's how he covers up for all his misgivings. Yes, it is, yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, there's a rabbit hole for YouTubers to dive down. We better move on.
We will. We've got to the feature, Tom. It's an exciting week for the Xbox community. It was the Xbox Showcase 2020, or Game Showcase 2020. This is our feature around it. As Tom mentioned, we put a post up, so we gathered your views before, and we also gathered your views after. It's round 2 in the next gen reveals, and they took place this Thursday, and Microsoft went all in and showed us so many lovely things. Let's break out some green beanbags, talk about what we saw, and our impressions, while also taking a read through yours. Tom, has Phil brought you your green branded beanbag for you to sit upon?
Of course he has. He's big friends with me. And just before he put out the show yesterday, like our good friend Jeff Keighley got his hands on the PS5 controller, I got my hands on a Xbox Series X controller.
How did that feel?
And it's very nice. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, well weighted.
Right.
Triggers primed.
Okay. Going to talk a bit more about that, or are you under some sort of ND?
Yeah, I can't discuss too much yet, but in the coming months, I'm sure all will be revealed.
Okay, all right.
So we better move on.
Yesterday kicked off, Tom, seeing as we're recording this on a Friday, it kicked off with really what I would say a lot of people tuned in for. Obviously, you and I had an original Xbox within the launch window, I think a couple of months after it came out, and me and you had 360s at launch. Obviously, we attended a little launch do, and we got our little Xbox 360 beanies and key rings and a host of other tat to go with our launch edition consoles.
I did own an original Xbox as well.
You did? When did you get that?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think I saw my mate got it on launch, and I went round and we played Halo, and I was just so impressed. But my heart was set on GameCube. But then I think I saw yours, and we played through some games, and also had another friend in the village I grew up in, and he was sort of trying to convert me to getting one. And I can't remember. It might have been like something bizarre, like seeing WWF Raw on it and just looking at wowed at the realism of the graphics. And I think I got it with
nothing else to go with it.
Yeah,
that game. Anyway, carry on.
So yeah, I think I picked it up with probably Halo 1 and Gotham Racing and a few other titles. WWF Raw.
Do you remember a night where me, you, and my brother-in-law? So I don't know what that would make him to you, but we
played it down in Ancaster.
No, we played PGR2 at mine, I think it was, and we were taking him through, and we were letting him feel the nuances of the vehicle as it hit the track, and
Wow, that was original Xbox.
It was original Xbox, and we passed the controller between each other, and he was sort of blown away by it, I think, from memory.
Yeah, a great console and an extremely powerful one for the time as well.
Yeah, I had my Xbox as my main gaming console in the original Xbox, and I had a PS2 with a screen I took away with me. But to play those multi-plats and exclusives, which kind of
like Lando playing both sides.
Yeah, exactly. I got pulled over really off the back of. I think fans have listened to enough to know I was in the Navy, and that's why I had a PlayStation with the screen to take away with me and to watch movies on. And then at home, I had the Xbox, and I remember going into town and being like, "Oh wow, this Xbox is either out or I've just come back." And I had a week's leave. I'd flown back from another country. I had a week's leave.
Cash on the hip.
Went, and then the timing was eloquent. I went and got myself an Xbox and a copy of Halo and Project Gotham. And I was determined to finish Halo that week, and I sure did, and played the wheels off Gotham and absolutely loved it. Now, it's that Halo experience, really, that a lot of people are massive fans of, and they turned up, really. And Xbox, I would say, didn't disappoint because they gave you Halo straight out the gates. There was no waiting or here's what you could have won, look at all these other games, and then pop in with the Halo, although they did that with Fable, but we'll get there. We went straight in, kind of picked up the story for all intents and purposes from when we last saw Halo Infinite with them picking up Master Chief. We next see that kind of fun duo, really, crash landing on a Halo ring, Tom. So return to the Halo ring for Halo Infinite. What was your initial thoughts when you saw the... I don't want to talk about the sort of the cutscene models because they looked, very nice. But when we landed then on the Halo ring itself,
I think it was very nostalgic. I think they were really sort of playing on that. I love the idea that the scale of it, that some of this is going to be sort of open world, very free roamy. I think that might work well for Halo, and I think it needs a bit of a freshen up. I've played all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, ODST and Reach. I've always enjoyed them.
Was 5 go from point A to point B? Because I always thought 5 looked absolutely fantastic. And I think in a way it looks better
very good.
Does 5 look better than Infinite?
It's a very impressive game. I think the new trailer they showed, let's get this out of the way straight away, that's really brave to kick off with actual gameplay.
Yes, definitely. They have to be applauded for that.
Sony didn't really want to show too much of... If you're telling us, Spider-Man's coming out in winter, similar time to Halo, we need to see more of it. And... yeah, I think that's good for Xbox fans. They know it looks solid. I was a bit disappointed with it looks flat in places. Some of like I say, it looks solid and clean and crisp and all this, but it just lacks some polish. Maybe this is an earlier demo build. I've heard that rumor, but you'd think they'd want to show their best offering. But still, good for them to get some gameplay out. And like I say, that's brave in this day and age. A lot of people tend to put out demos that don't tend to have a lot of actual real gameplay, and you end up with a very watered down experience. I think that is legitimate, fresh off the console.
It felt fast paced. There was Was it too quick, or is it just this is where it's evolved to?
I think that's probably where it's evolved to. The gunplay's always been pretty decent. It's one of the core the best things about Halo. Going back to 5 quickly, it was very much designed to be more a co-op thing with Locke is another Spartan sent with a team to track down Master Chief. I'm not going to go into the story because one day we'll cover it with a Halo retrospective. But you kind of have a team of 4 and a team of 4. So it is very much designed to be played with friends, I think. And to me, that's what Halo multiplayer is for. The single player campaign should be that. And
definitely.
Definitely. Rumors saying that it's only going to launch with a single player campaign and the multiplayer will come later, which is a strange choice, but maybe it's probably the better one, is to get people playing over Christmas, play that nice big single player experience on the new machine, and then hit them with a very, what is going to be surely pretty high level multiplayer. It's one of the biggest multiplayers there is. Extremely nostalgic for a lot of people. I was chatting with some friends on one who's on PC, the other on PlayStation. Both have grown up playing Halo, and yeah, I think started strong. So
okay, well, next on our list, Tom, a game that I think you might have played actually, but it's never dragged me in. State of Decay, but this is the third one announced for Series X.
Now, I think you might like this series because I got involved on State of Decay 2. It was the last game I played on Xbox One before I made the jump to PS4. And I really enjoyed it. It was very glitchy, very buggy, but it was like, I think, one of those early development titles. And it was, I don't remember it costing a great deal. But the actual idea of it on the zombie genre of game is that you're actually trying to build a community and a base, and like it's very life sim. Like you've got to go out and scavenge for fuel to run the generators.
Multiplayer.
Yes, but not designed to be. It to me that was more a single player game. I think you could join each other's like world, if you know what I mean. So like your friend could come in and probably destroy everything if they're that sort of friend. We've all got them. Look at this, look what I can do. So yeah, they can come in and do that, but to me, I played it mainly in single player. It's all about resource management, or that's the gist I got from it. You could upgrade certain things, so you could go to like hydroponics eventually with growing things and having that sustainability.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Mate, I really think you would like it. It would be a good one to stream.
A bit later on, we're going to get to the way that some people are going to be able to access this whole new wave of the Xbox era that's being ushered in. Next, Tom, a game that I supported day one when it was on the original Xbox and followed it through to 360. Forza Motorsport on the Series X. We got to see some tantalizing glimpses of that. It's guaranteed to be 60 FPS and with ray tracing. One thing I would say about that is I like cars, you know me, and I like motor racing games, and the original Forza was certainly a good step in the right direction. Very simmy, but that's what they're going for. And I thought, when this showed them walking around that garage and we got to see the ray tracing effects and other bits and bobs on the car's bonnets, and then we cut to some outdoor action, which looked, for all intents and purposes, incredible. But every single shot we had was sort of, for cinematic value, I'd imagine, every shot was kind of obscured and through trees and at distance. And I wanted to see up close. I wanted more and more and more of that. And they gave us a waft under our nose and then ripped it back away from us, didn't they? So, yeah, Forza,
they did, yeah.
I'm excited for that.
It's always going to be graphically impressive, isn't it? Even looking back on their other titles, I believe the latest Forza Horizon is going to be optimized for Series X as well.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 4. Yeah.
Number 4. So yeah, lots for motorsport fans to love and get excited for on the new console.
Okay, well,
this is the big one for me. I think this is probably one of my highlights.
Well, Rare gave us a closer look at Everwild, Tom, a rather interesting trailer with that almost witch-like lady being able to sense the very essence of the Earth itself, and through that sort of explore a wildlands, basically.
Yeah.
What did you take from that? Obviously, we got a little bit of a deep dive from Rare, the producer at Rare, after the trailer, didn't we?
It was one of those classic trailers where like I love the look of it, but then I spend a lot of time thinking in my head, like, what is this about? I want to know more about it, and it's I'm excited to learn more from. I just hope it's a return to form for Rare. I mean, Sea of Thieves is liked by a lot of people, and I think there's a lot to like on it. But for me, I wasn't a fan that much. I just want to see them get back to those glory days, and they've got some really talented people there. And the art style for it is fantastic. I just hope if it's open world, it can do some new things. I think those next generation of open world games are going to have to do some, not just new graphics, new gameplay ideas. As much as I love Ghost of Tsushima, it does use some of those old-fashioned open world design elements that we saw in Days Gone as well. So, yeah, hoping they can push the boundaries, not just graphically, but also with the gameplay and gameplay ideas.
Now, the next title I've written down, or we've got in the script, Tell Me Why, Chapter 1, August 27th, for Xbox One and PC. So this is a game you're going to be able to get your greasy mitts on in less than a month, really. So that's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a nice episodic. Is it like one of those sort of choice games?
I believe it to be. Yeah, that was my takeaway. One thing I would say about it is they've gone. Some of the visuals look really sharp and the textures were great, but it seems like they've gone for a more stylized vibe with the actual character models, which piqued my interest. I do like something that's a bit different. I do believe it's the Life is Strange devs, so obviously looks like it'll be sticking very much to the Life is Strange format.
Yeah.
Which is the aforementioned choice-based gameplay you talk of. Excited for that one?
I think if you're into their previous games, then
I never really have been, so it kind of like I nodded at it for what it needed to be, but it kind of very quickly slipped off my radar once I worked out what it was.
These are the sort of things that I always think I could probably play that through with Paulina sat next to me and just see like if she's get her interested in gaming that way. But
your cleaner, do you know what? She's not going to last probably till the end of next week. The way you go through these young maids that you have, you break one and then you scream on the phone to Thailand for a new one.
Yes,
probably needs to stop. I don't know if Phil's going to condone any of that action while he's with you there in New York.
Well, treat them mean, keep them keen.
Okay.
That's the saying goes.
Well, next we obviously saw a little bit of an insight, really, a side-by-side of Ori Will of the Wisps at 4K 120 frames per second on Series X, obviously getting its visual upgrade with audio upgrade as well, which piqued my interest. I was quite intrigued to see how they were lending extra strength to the audio there, and at the same token, the extra fluidity that 4K and 120 FPS showing quite how beautiful Ori and the Will of the Wisps can and will be.
I mean, it already is a very, very nice looking title, but to have it running that smooth is going to be something to behold.
The extra frames of animation they were able to show in the slow-mo, pretty impressive.
I loved the first one. I played and finished it. It was quite a tough game. It's not an easy one, that.
One question I've got there, though, is that is amazing, and obviously all the fidelity that we saw, but surely all the loyal Xbox gamers who have already accessed this game through Games Pass, they've already finished it and got all the trophies out of it, all the achievements out of it.
We find this with that cross-gen sort of era, don't we, where it's the first 1 to 2 years of a new console. There's going to be a lot of this on PlayStation as well. So, yeah, I get your point. It makes sense. Like, a lot of us have already played this.
It would have been nice if they could have coupled this 4K 120 FPS with a little bit of something extra to get your teeth into.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll bundle in a bit of DLC with it. We don't know.
That would be really
yet, but,
that would be really cool of them.
Yeah. Speaking of DLC, what we got next?
The Outer Worlds Peril on Gorgon. Obviously, Xbox snapped up Obsidian under their
they did
Xbox Studio, Microsoft Studios banner, and they came wading in with this Outer Worlds DLC, Peril on Gorgon, released in September 8th. Again, stuff that's in this showcase. It wasn't all Series X, Series X, Series X. There was a smattering of things for the loyal Xbox community to get their teeth into. Exciting. The trailer was very Obsidian, wasn't it? Outer Worlds looks very... I haven't picked it up on any of the consoles, to be honest with you. And you know I'm quite into Obsidian stuff normally, but the humour was on point, obviously, for their style and their angle. The game, I've thought this for a while. The game looks like they've took the Fallout engine without Bethesda's permission, and they've kind of just butchered it into the Outer Worlds, but made it look and play good. You know, it seems very much like they've gone, is Tom Hines looking? No. Get that engine under the table now. We'll call it our own.
Yeah.
That's Perils of Gorgon, though. I think the PlayStation fans are listening, they're going to get access to that DLC as well. So
yes, they are, yeah.
Nice that the studios share at this point, in a way. Yeah, there are some obviously timed exclusives in the list of games we're talking about today that will actually be making their way to all consoles and PC at some point in time. One of the games that Obsidian did show, though, which is coming,
so good.
Grounded.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I thought you were going to say the next one, but
no,
Grounded.
Grounded. Disney called. They want their Honey, I Shrunk the Kids back, but hopefully before Disney realises, people are going to be able to get their hands on Grounded and play it. I really like what's now Microsoft-owned nod to Battletoads as well, because they were playing on a toy of it, weren't they? If you noticed that.
Yeah.
And that's actually a real toy that was actually put out. So a very cool Easter egg that encompasses a fair bit of Rare history there. So you think about that. That's going to be an online survival multiplayer game, which I was like, oh, this looks great. And then it's online multiplayer survival game.
Yeah, I think sometimes me and you get invested in a game, don't we? And then as soon as we hear the fatal words like online, and I play more online games than you do, but sometimes you think that would work so much better with just even a friend in couch co-op, maybe, or a couple of friends.
I think couch co-op on that Grounded with you and a couple of kids, or whatever, that would be really serious family fun, like wouldn't it?
Yeah, like a family adventure film, but you can play it. I mean, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Great potential there.
Yeah.
And maybe this is an option, we don't know yet. So if anyone wants to correct us on that, please do so. Maybe we'll hear more from, I'm sure we will hear more from when people start playing it on is it on early access?
I think a lot of these games are going to be available on that early access plan again, which we must. Yeah. I think we'll get to that. Obviously, I think we've in our list of talking points within the script. I think we'll get to that, and obviously the all-encompassing Games Pass. Last week we touched on that in the news, and I said, "Well, I don't even need a Series X to play all these games. All I need is a phone and a TV and a controller."
Yeah.
And Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, or the big sharing thing they've got going on, even supports DualShock 4s. So almost. They want you hooked in, really, I believe, for that monthly subscription price coming out of your bank, and then get you hooked into the game so you kind of forget, a bit like Netflix, and end up turn around at the end of the year and think, where did all this money go? Oh, yeah, all my subscriptions, damn you. But hey, give me the games and I'll probably be smiling like a kid at Christmas.
It's a strange one because if, let's say I own an Xbox One, but I have the Games Pass, but I'm streaming it to my iPad or phone, am I going to get, say my phone's like the latest phone or iPad, am I going to be able to play it in because it's streaming, because it's on the Games Pass? Is it going to stream the quality of an Xbox One Series X rather than Xbox One? Do You see where I'm going with that?
I think it definitely. I'd imagine that they've probably got PCs really in the background crunching all this rather than racks and racks of Series X or ones or One X's.
Sure,
so
yeah.
Are they just going to go out and buy a load of awesome sort of net-linked, powerful, racked-up server PCs? Probably.
Yeah.
The Series X is a bold step in the world of home consoles, certainly with its 12 teraflops and its SSD and all that other good stuff. But one wonders if they could be brave enough to just abandon consoles altogether. Like, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. You've got the app.
I think
they know that
generation's coming, isn't it?
Had a kick in the pants, hasn't it? For not everyone being able to, and then the ownership of games sort of comes down to it as well as sort of audiophiles like to have their records so they can look at them and touch them and smell them, and movie fans like to have, although movie fans are starting to migrate towards the streaming services a bit more. I mean, it's very much a convenience thing, but I myself, I still like to have that movie that I own in a plastic case with a piece of professionally printed artwork on a shelf. I don't know as it makes I don't know as it makes any sense, but I like to have some ownership over it. And I want to be able to display my love for a series by having hold of something physical that resonates with me about that series. I know I'm a dinosaur, but that's kind of what I want. That's what I like. So although I'm the Stadia champion, because we drew lots about who was going to be the champion for the Stadia, and I won, and therefore I've given it the serious, rousing rabbit. I've given it the pre-battle shout, the 300 style charge that Stadia needs. Stadia's already got all this, and the only person really out there that can challenge probably Microsoft for server power and tech ability is Stadia. But did Stadia come a little bit too early? Microsoft seemed to be getting away with game streaming. They've been given almost a free pass. Everyone's like, yeah, that's cool, that's amazing, give me some of that. Whereas if you'd have mentioned Stadia less than 6 months ago, people would be saying, no, I don't want Stadia, that's pants. What do Google know about games? Well, they've given you all the multi-plats that you really, really love, and you can access that on your phone, your TV. You don't even need anything all singing or dancing. You just need a Fire Stick and you're good to go, friend.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So why would Xbox get a free pass but Google get stomped into the ground? Maybe the fans could message us in and let us know what the difference is.
I think sometimes people don't want another person in the party, do they? It's like,
how strange. Surely that's good for gamers to be given a choice. If Google have got the big bucks, we know they've got some serious money, and they locked off a game and maybe developed a game series. Is that not what's wrong with that? Like Microsoft got entry into the fight, didn't they? Almost at Sega's demise at times, which
I just don't think that Stadia didn't have the necessary tools to do it. It didn't have any exclusives, which we know sells consoles. Look at Halo and the original Xbox. Would it have been a success without that?
I just don't think it would have been, no.
So, yeah, they just didn't have the right tools or the right weapons for the fight, in my eyes. But we better move on.
Obsidian.
Because that's talking points for another day.
Unveiled a new fantasy RPG. We didn't really get to see much of this. There was kind of hints within what I believe to be a trailer more than a gameplay of Avowed. The game that they said they wanted to make when Microsoft bought, they'd always wanted to make when Microsoft bought them. There seemed to be almost Kinect style hand waving on the left and sword gesturing on the right. One imagines it will be a standard first person, possibly game, but that I don't know whether it was just me, but that sort of hand waft on the left hand side, almost Doctor Strange.
Don't worry.
Made me think,
don't worry.
Oh, is that Kinect?
Kinect can't hurt you anymore. Don't worry, it's gone.
It burnt me. That was one of the main factors for me. Thing is, when Kinect came out, I watched all the trailers. I listened to all the hyperbole. I thought, or the hyperbole, And I thought, oh, wow, this is game-changing. It can watch my hands in the air. It can see. I bought it that Christmas. I ponied up. I got every launch game. I got everything for the Kinect. I even changed my lounge around. I've never been so underwhelmed by a piece of tech in all my days.
Yeah, I think with technology like that, you've got to have the games to go with it. And not many
got to
do.
have a device that actually works.
Yeah, but I believe the Kinect on Xbox One was a fair improvement. I don't know.
That was
I've not used it.
That was the item they promised with the original Kinect. And now when I see one in a charity shop in a bin of wires for like £1, I just laugh at it. One day knowing me, I'll pick one up and all the games and I'll go back to it. And yeah, I'd like to do that objectively. Grab one of the late Gen 360s just to make sure it's being given the best chance it can be given, rather than a launch edition 360.
You'll be calling me, telling me it's the greatest thing ever made.
I can't see it somehow. But you never know.
Right.
What did you think of Avowed as a snake?
Enough on Kinect. I think it looked similar, like with the dual wielding of magic and weapons, like sort of Skyrim-esque. I thought it was Fable to start with when that trailer started, but I was surprised to see a new IP, which is always good. So yeah, I would say that's quite a long way off, but definitely one to keep an eye on.
And now this next game piques my interest, if nothing for I don't know whether that was just a way of doing the trailer or whether this was a new and interesting way to tell a story, but the former Quantic Dream lead developer came belting in with Dusk Falls for Series X, which looked exquisite. I was a bit confused between the sort of still images with moving hair as to whether we were seeing this is the gameplay, which I think it kind of suggested it was, which I'm not against. I've always liked the Quantic Dream games. I even had Nomad Soul for my sins on the Dreamcast. And Fahrenheit on Xbox.
You did, yeah. I had that.
And PS2. And then obviously they became PS3 exclusives after that point. But Dusk Falls looks, again, this isn't Quantic Dreams. It's their lead developers breaking off. But yeah, what did you think about that?
It's one I didn't really pay much attention to, I'll be honest. Yeah, I've not got much to say on that one. I think it was like in the middle of the presentation.
It's a shame. I actually think it carried quite a bit of weight, and I was a bit frustrated that it was kind of in that lull, as you call it. I think a lot of people might just pass that by without giving it the respect it deserves.
The PlayStation had that similar, because they're what are they, like an hour-long presentation each? Yeah. And I will say this, I felt they were very, very similar in the way they were put together. Really well done and great sort of hype building for the new machines. A lot of good stuff there, but when you present something that long, there's always going to be a little bit of a lull in the middle, and sometimes so many titles, stuff just gets put by the wayside. But I'm glad you liked it. That's good to know.
Next out the gates, a little bit of double fine action with Psychonauts 2 coming in 2021. Now coming in 2022.
Like out of the Beatles.
Yeah,
I got that vibe from it. The psychedelic sort of colours and sounds.
For me, Psychonauts 2 was kind of like my lull in the showcase.
You just thought you were tripping out, and
probably thought you'd left one of your strange peyote toads around, and I'd just sort of brushed it and licked my finger. That's definitely what was going on there. Psychonauts 8, I remember that back in the day, the original one. From memory, it's a fun little platform game that's built up a bit of a cult following. A lot of people sort of, I think, could have overlooked that game, really. So Psychonauts 2, a nod back to that. Hopefully they've advanced on the ideas a little more, and refined them down, and game that many people didn't expect a sequel to, but now are getting. Next, we had some information. We'll talk about Games Pass here as well. Destiny 2 hits Games Pass in September. Beyond Light coming in November. I've never really been a Destiny boy, but
I think of the online games you could play, you would probably like that one a lot because it is very. You can see the Halo history there, obviously with Bungie. It plays very, very well. It's a very slick shooter, but it's got the Halo vibe. It's its own thing. The raids are pretty cool, where you get a good group of you and you go through like what are not only shooting, like a lot of sort of shooting mechanics, but there's a lot of platforming mechanics, which surprised me when I tried one with some friends. Quite difficult. I'm not great at first-person shooters at the best of times, but yeah, I had some fun, but also some choice words playing those. So the new expansion pack got delayed recently, didn't it? But it's looking great for Destiny fans, and the fact that's coming to Games Pass is, to me, a big win.
Let's take a moment to talk about Games Pass, because one of the big takeaways is all these exclusives are going to be available on Games Pass. So let you pay the Games Pass, what is it, 156, 100 and whatever it is, pounds a month now, or a year. A month would be excessive, but a year for this ultimate access rendition, which means you can play it on your phone. You don't even need an Xbox console, seemingly, from what I can work out. You just need a Bluetooth controller, a way of having good internet, and a way of getting the app and streaming it with an Xbox account or a Microsoft account. Yeah. All these games coming out. If you're going to be able to play, if my internet's good enough and I can play a Series X game without having a box under the TV and paying that extra £500, £300, £400, £500 for the privilege, don't need to buy any launch games, don't need to get out of my chair other than to get more cheese-flavoured snacks and a host of game-related beverages. Again, we go back to this Stadia question. Is that right? Or are Xbox gamers going to... If you've got the Xbox One and you've got this Games Pass Ultimate, do you need to go and get a Series X? What's the reason for the upgrade? And with the backwards compatibility, a lot of these games are going to work on the One anyway.
I think you're always going to have the group who want to play on the best of the best. It's like, I'd love to play my PS4 Pro on a 4K TV, but it's just not affordable at the minute, and I'd go for upgrading the console over the TV again. So there's always going to be that group who really want to play on the best version possible. But yeah, it seems like they're limiting their market a bit by being so user friendly and accessible.
That's what I'm saying. It's not all. They don't realise they are being very generous and they're being very user friendly, but it kind of pulls the rug from under their new console in a way, doesn't it? Now, I know there's a lot of Xbox fans out there that have got the One or the One X or whatever it is, and they're like, yeah, I love my Xbox, it's great. And Microsoft always almost handed them on a platter, no reason to go out and get the Series X.
Yeah, that's a good point. The fact
launch day comes, here we go. I'll play Halo Infinite, easy peasy. I want to play the upgraded graphical version. This is where we need a little bit more clarity, I think, because obviously Halo Infinite will work on the One. And it's also upgraded for the Series X. But if you've got Games Pass Ultimate, can you play the Series X version streamed?
Yeah, this is. Does that depend on like your connection, like your internet speed? Lots of questions to be answered, and hopefully we'll bring you those.
Like me and you have said, a very generous way and a very inclusive way to make sure your whole fan base can access all the, as long as they pay for the privilege, of course, with this subscription. But a very generous way of doing that. But are they going to be able to, from a business point of view? Let's face it, we all think, oh, we're gamers, it's art, these games, we don't want to pay big money for these. Well, they cost a lot of money to make. And no one's in the games industry, certainly from a console manufacturer point of view, to lose money, are they? They want to make money.
Yeah, I think like obviously Microsoft as a company must have unbelievable money assets. So like you look at Netflix and the quality of what they produce now is obviously higher than what it was originally, like their own stuff, series and films, because it is the streaming service, isn't it, for movies? There's nothing as big as that. I think Games Pass has to get that big to be sustainable for all these first party companies they've got making games, because they're going to be big budget games. So they're not, like you say, they're not giving it away for free. You are paying for it, but you're getting such a good deal. Like in theory,
you're getting a good deal now.
Yeah.
You're getting a good deal now while they're trying to hook you in. In 5 years' time, will it be such a good deal? But at that point in time, you might be that committed to the whole back catalogue that you've accrued. Technically, you can't really afford to get out. And you certainly can't afford whatever comes after the Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
and you've certainly got nothing. Back in the day, you or I, as younger kids, we would, and I think everyone can certainly resonate with this. The new console comes out, so you pick up everything gaming related, put it in a bag, and trudge down to Game Station, CEX, cash converters, or whatever, and literally hock your whole life away for what feels like 40p and a slap round the face of being so cheeky as to bring in this tat. You look around and they're putting $59.99 stickers on your rarest game and laughing behind the counter at your foolish endeavours, where you go around the corner and throw down whatever shrapnel they've given you plus your life savings for a tech demo version, a game that's basically a tech demo and a brand new steaming pile of plastic. So that you're no longer, now to us, we're not in that situation anymore where we feel that we need to sell everything that mumsy and dadsy have bought us and mow every single blade of grass in the village to get enough money together to do this new thing. We're quite fortunate in the fact that we've got access to these consoles, and that's very good. And we're in a privileged position where I won't need to rent a van and trade everything I've got to get the new one. But if you're a young kid and you like get an Xbox for Christmas, or we'll lump all the consoles in, PlayStation or whatever, and you double down on PS Now or you double down on Games Pass, you got nothing to show for your money.
Yeah, this is a good point. Again, going back to the physical over digital, which we've had a show on before.
That's not an Xbox slap. That's I'm worried for the industry thing.
Yeah, I mean, because if it takes off, Sony aren't going to be far behind with. Obviously,
well, they did that deal with Microsoft to lever off their server skills, didn't they? The Xbox and PlayStation divisions were not aware that Sony and Microsoft did a backroom handshake, which actually was to furnish PlayStation and PlayStation Now with the ability to match whatever Xbox are planning. They've just basically said, "Oh, here's our tech that we're planning to use for our Xbox cloud service gaming thing. Take that," or obviously give us big bucks, by the way. Take that. I mean, it's a win-win for them, Microsoft, really, because for every PlayStation that gets sold and PS Now, or whatever the future of PS Now is, gets taken up, they almost get a skin off of Sony's back for every PlayStation that gets sold. So it's a very shrewd business-wide decision, again, elevating it up a level from us as gamers to raise the conversation bar up a little bit to a more sort of overarching, bigger picture view. Again, from that money point of view, if you're being, let's just break it down a little bit. Xbox original. I mean, I really loved my Xbox original, but it got slapped into a sideways hat by PlayStation. Xbox 360 came out the guns great. It ended up getting slapped into a cocked hat by PlayStation 3. Xbox One, as great a console as it's been, and for some of the innovations that it's brought in, it's got slapped into a cocked hat by everything from a Switch to a PlayStation. So if you can open up your gambit a little bit more and and get a win off everybody else doing well, it's probably a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Very shrewd moves by them, very smart. But as we will see over the coming years, maybe streaming is going to be the way it goes for consoles.
Well, BT need to get fibre to my door, because this Victorian telegraph wire that communicates to my house sometimes... uploading the shows and other bits and bobs. I don't know how I stream. I really don't know how I'm capable of streaming, because it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, we better get back to these games, haven't we? Because we've diverted there a lot. So we're on Stalker 2. It's an Xbox Series X console launch exclusive.
I liked that, though, didn't you? Exclusive.
I've missed that, or the world premiere.
World premiere, console launch exclusive. Oh, crikey. Okay, I get the picture.
I love the world premiere because it reminds me of E3 and watching E3 over the years. I've hated this year for like our video game culture and films and stuff. It's all just been messed up, hasn't it? And I know there's way bigger problems in the world, but it's just a bit hokey cokey in it. They're all trying to do the best, and I think they've done a good job, really. But I miss me 3 weeks. I miss all that hype building, and it's usually a disappointment. There's some good stuff there, but yeah, I hope it's always a thing. And that little world premiere thing just took me back to thinking, there's been some good stuff shown over the years, and it needs to be a big event. I don't know why they feel the need that. They think, it's just too much. It's just pomp and ceremony. But I don't know.
Talking of the world premiere, what did you think to the world premiere of Stalker 2?
I don't know much about the series or like the first one, so I can't comment on that a great deal. It looked quite interesting what they showed. But I can't really say a lot about that.
Sort of an immersive... It's like a sim with horror elements. It's like an FPS game. Again, I've never had the fortune to play it. Again, there's lots of games out there that, even as podcast hosts, we have to sort of doff our cap and say we can't play everything, can we? We can't play everything all of the time. Let's quickly skip to the one that I think you were quite impressed by, the dual reality trailer for Series X game, The Medium world premiere.
When I first started watching this, I thought it was like an Alan Wake sequel.
Oh, that would have been amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're big fans of the Wake, aren't we? But it wasn't. It was a new IP again, which we really should commend. Love to see those, because one day we'll be sat here going, I'm really looking forward to the Medium 2's trailer. But anyway, very cool. The way they had the parallel or alternate reality on one side of the screen, probably trying to echo the Ratchet and Clank ideas of being able to do this with the SSD drive, and these are going to be the things that hopefully push gameplay innovation as well as graphics. It looks quite an interesting alternate reality. It looks more like a hellish vibe
it kind
going
of.
on.
I liked what I saw.
Very creepy.
I'd like to know a little bit more about it, and obviously, as the weeks unfold, we will get to find out more. Like you say, it had that sniff of Awake about it, didn't it?
Yeah, to start with, and then the reality of like the real life reality looked very Alan Wake, and then the other one was a bit more stylized and a bit more horror or fantasy horror injected. But that's had some nice screenshots released recently as well, so check those out, Xbox fans. It looked very, very nice.
It was quite cool to see how, again, it's hard to know, isn't it? But it almost seemed like you were controlling, the screen was split down the middle and you're controlling this person in both worlds at the same time, and you hold up a torch and she holds up something else in the other world, and she was what looked like quite old in the other world, and you were quite fresh faced in the other world. Very fascinating mechanic, almost like a split screen version of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver in a way, where you kind of morph the world around you when you saw the sort of hellish future version and morphed it back to the sort of more vampires in their prime version. Again, the consoles at the time struggled to probably do it justice, but clever idea. Want to see more. Again, another clever idea, another interesting game for us to slap our peepers all over. What next?
Let's get
the gunk.
Get through these last ones. The gunk. I love the style of this, and the sort of almost hoovering up of or absorbing the gunk.
It's the new thing from SteamWorld, isn't it? So interesting sort of idea again. It's puzzles.
What the SteamWorld heist crew? Or are you on about just the general?
I think the whole SteamWorld universe, from what I've researched today, Swedish studio, ranging from the SteamWorld Quest to the SteamWorld Heist. So
okay, yeah.
They're going to drop that and then move to the Gunk, which again is going to come to Xbox One and Series X in 2021.
It's an exclusive as well, which is another good score for them. Yeah, I like the look of that. I think it was interesting. Very sort of, it's not cartoony, but
no, but it's a different vibe. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
we don't have to see the pores of everybody in every game, do we? To know that it doesn't make a game not amazing, does it? No, absolutely not.
It was very rare-esque as well, I thought.
Yes.
Like 360 sort of rare games.
I don't, from my understanding, this is obviously revealed as a console launch exclusive, but I don't think this game's going to be making its way to PlayStation 5 anytime soon. It'll be Xbox exclusive, period, quote, unquote. So, again, quite a shrewd move to pick that up. Again, one thing that kind of I sort of had explained to me, but obviously by Adam the artist, but seemingly Phil at the beginning of the month says he doesn't believe in exclusives, and then the next minute pulls out Bill Gates' wallet and gets himself a load of exclusives and timed exclusives, which kind of goes against it. But seemingly the younger players need exclusives and the older players appreciate indie games more, or something like that. I still don't understand why Phil would say something like that. Now, I thought it was more like he was throwing them off the scent to try and give people something to be excited about. Obviously, he's bought a load of studios, says he doesn't believe in exclusives, yet why would you have a whole gamut of studios exclusive to your division and not have exclusives and not like exclusives? Seems a bit bonkers. Why would you buy all those studios as part of an initiative and then say you don't believe in exclusives? If I was a Microsoft studio, I'd be like, that's a bit necky, Phil. It came to you to be exclusive. Why would you say that? Do you not like us now?
Strange.
Like Bill Gates has only just got the receipt and paid the tax on the last round of studios he's bought, and now you say you don't like us anymore. What's going on? Clarify that for me, Phil. Be nice for, obviously, him to sit down. I mean, God forbid he'd sit down with us, but sit down with a leading light in the industry and maybe just explain a little bit more about what he meant by that, and also why he was so hyped to have all these exclusives in the show. I think it's a good thing. For me, exclusives sell consoles, and if Xbox Series X comes running out the gates with a whole plethora of games that you can't experience anywhere else and aren't timed exclusives and are only locked to that console, well, that's a great reason to pony up for either Ultimate Games Pass or Series X, isn't it? Surely.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, these next ones, to me, this is getting towards the end of the show, ready for the last big reveal game. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Side or Dark Tide.
Yeah.
Standard Warhammer game. Sounds brutal.
I mean, I know it is brutal, but it is kind of true. Tetris Effect Connected, Xbox Series X.
I love the music
title.
in that. That was awesome.
Yeah, great reveal as well.
Good trailer. Yeah, that was really nicely done.
Obviously, Tetris Effect is out now, but the connected version is the multiplayer version, from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cool idea. I played Tetris Ultimate on the Switch. It's quite a cool little idea. Battle Royale, but with Tetris. So similar to that, I guess. Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis arrives in 2021.
Yeah, I used to love this back in the Dreamcast days. Yeah. Played the wheels off it. I don't know as it really has got its grips on me anymore. So I kind of I saw it and kind of just passed it off. I'll be honest with you. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm done with Phantasy Star Online. It's got a little bit of a nod in there to sort of maybe Monster Hunter World, which is cool. It's a nice way in a way, that's kind of where the game was at when PlayStation and PSP and all that did the big Monster Hunter thing. I think they were really leveraging off the back of Phantasy Star Online. So ultimately, the original Monster Hunter game. What came next? Oh, Tom, I thought this would make you double down and get yourself one. The upcoming FPS Crossfire X. You're a super army soldier. You're Ross Kemp. You're stripped to the waist. You can go invisible. There's lots of macho gun stuff going on. There's lots of chests
and it's made by Remedy of Alan Wake and Control fame. So I've heard a lot of good things about Control. So the gameplay for this FPS should be top notch. Yeah, that looked nice.
Do you think it's going to be everything it appears to be, or do you think there's going to be like a flip to it, like an Alan Wake or Control style, something else going on?
Maybe not with this one. Maybe they just want to go for the more sort of military FPS type experience, special forces sort of thing. That's the vibe I got from it.
It's a crowded arena though. So, and why would they sort of? Because what did they do before Alan Wake? Max Payne.
Yeah.
Why would they throw that in the bin to come waltzing out and do a by the numbers FPS with a little bit of future tech and stealth in it?
Yeah,
seems a bit odd to me. But
maybe there's going to be some different.
That's not me. That's not me poo-pooing what I saw. I thought it was a very good rendition of a super army soldier, chest out, helicopters, fast ropes, all that sort of stuff we've seen a lot before, but it certainly looked amazing. So, again, they've whet our appetite. Let's tell us more. The last bit of zhuzh before we got to probably what me and you tuned in for really was that we've already talked about at the top of the feature. You're right, Tom. You're rolling around with Paulina there. Or are you back in the room?
I'm back in the room. I'm here.
Just save the naked wrestles till the end of the show. Forza Horizon
doesn't have to see them.
Well, I'm sure he's more interested in your side of the naked wrestle than Paulina's. Basically, you've aired all his personal life all over. He was very upset about that.
Well, that's why I come over, because he just needed some days away from the Sun newspaper, didn't he? Hounding him. Old howling Mad Murdoch's crew.
Okay, well, less said, soonest mended, I would say. Forza Horizon 4 and Sea of Thieves will be enhanced for Series X. That's, again, I mean, it's a little bit like getting a GTA 5 enhancement. Take your big titles that everyone's playing and loving, bolster them up, especially seeing as the online element of Sea of Thieves, keep people interested, keep people connected in that ecosystem, and transfer them to your new console. Snappy, sensible business move.
Yeah, you just know, like, the Fortnite trailers are coming as well, aren't they? Like, next gen, like shock horror, Fortnite coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Really? Oh,
well, it's rumoured to be. That's again, I've heard a lot of information about this, but that's rumoured to be they'll be implementing a whole new physics engine into that will fundamentally change Fortnite as we know it. Now, whether that will still be the game you can play on your mobile or your Switch, or whether it will be, the PS4 gets left behind and the Xbox One and the Switch and the mobiles get left behind, and it marches forward on PS5 and Xbox One X as a new game, ultimately with all these sorts of physics in it. Although according to Epic, the Unreal 5 engine's scalable. So does that mean it can be scaled all the way down to that? And if so, what game are you playing on your phone at that point compared to the one that someone's playing on their Xbox Series X? Interesting. Fable. Obviously, you and I bought Fable at launch on the original Xbox, bought into Mr. Molyneux's stories, got it home, initially was disappointed, persevered with it, and found within there the seed or the kernel of an amazing game that I thoroughly enjoyed and revisited due to backwards compatibility from memory on the 360, and then obviously played the wheels off Fable 2, and then felt like I had my eyes poked clean out with a pooey stick with Fable 3. Again, towards the end of the 360 era, I really felt quite burnt by Microsoft, really. The Kinect and Fable 3 and a few other things really left a pretty foul taste in my mouth, but there you go. But Fable always gets a little bit of a free pass from me, so excited to see what's next.
As soon as I saw Halo open the show, I thought, going to do the good thing, open strong, close strong. It was a little bit disappointing because I'd heard a rumor we were going to get some in-game sort of
been in development,
footage.
Off the radar. I think everybody in the industry knows that's been in development for quite a long time. So I'd half convinced myself what I was seeing was Series X graphics. I was like, my goodness gracious me. Mumsy, fetch the Kane collection. We're going to go CEX because it looks like I might have to pony up for a Series X. George, you've already got the Series X. It's that meme again, isn't it? I want a Series X. You've already got the Series X. Shows you a broken iPhone 3G. That'll AirPlay to the TV, son. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I don't know what I'll end up playing on there, but yeah, technically I've already got everything I need to play the new Fable if I should want to. So, yeah.
Not much to say on Fable. We weren't shown a lot, so we can't say a lot. It looks like possibly a reboot. There was no numbers there, so a lot of people were obviously thinking Fable 4, but I'd say probably going for a soft reboot, as the industry calls it nowadays. So that was the event.
Yeah. I think we've shared our thoughts. Impressive. So it's now time to listen to others. So these are the before comments. So take notes on what people said before and then compare it to what they said after. We'll let you do that.
Oh, I see.
It was just an idea to find out what people were looking forward to, whether they were disappointed after it happened.
Probably okay. That's
for the PlayStation 1, got people's thoughts before and after.
Good idea.
We kind of dropped the ball there. So before, Comic Picture 79, a.k.a. Adam the Artist, a.k.a. the man you could win a prize from if your comment is deemed good enough to be Comment of the Month. And there's a whole range of geek prints he's got on the go, from everything from Dungeons & Dragons, the cartoon, to The Expanse from memory. He says, Comic Picture 79, a.k.a. our Adam, he says, I'm not hugely fussed about exclusives in general, but I'm interested to see what the studios are putting out purely because it's new games in it. That's how we spelt it. I'm very interested in the rumours changes to Xbox Live going free, which we didn't see, the xCloud integration with Games Pass. Kind of got a little bit more about that really from the industry outside of the showcase. Back compatibility upgrading games automatically. We didn't get any of that, so probably... I don't think he was disappointed, our Adam. In the Discord, he seemed very happy with what he'd seen. Azure Cloud supporting games with remote computation and rendering for the flight sim. It's very interesting stuff, but we didn't get any of that either. I want to know the details about free next-gen upgrades so I can make the switch on my terms, which we're kind of wanting more on. We talked about, but we want more. Big Phil has been making all the right moves. He calls him Big Phil, so he obviously, not our Phil the producer, but Big Phil from Xbox, has been making all the right moves for the last while, and everything he's saying just now is forward-thinking, inclusive, and focused on getting everyone to play regardless of gen/system. He says he thinks that's blooming brilliant. Microsoft going all super consumer-friendly. Who'd have thunk it? I don't know necessarily about that, Adam. I think they're just trying to get you in a place where they've got your bank details and are taking money out of your bank on a monthly basis, and then they can up it or down it as they see fit. But, for now, let's say they're being super consumer friendly, and if they are, give it all away for free. They're not even in it to make money anymore, Microsoft. New Microsoft Windows, Tom, you can have it for note. Ezo and Midna, I'm pretty on the fence about what my next console will be. I've not made up my mind because this looks to be so little between PS5 and Xbox Series X in terms of hardware. It's got to be all about the games, hasn't it? PS5 Showcase didn't do a great deal for me. So the Xbox better line up for its launch, then that's where my money will be going. Besides, I don't like the white PS5 much, so a nice black Xbox already gets extra credit if I need to sneak it under the TV without the wife spotting laughing till I cry emoji. Okay, well, probably you listen to this on headphones, Ezra and Midna, that's your game's up. Do you want to give us a readout of what our good friend Finster Gamer's got to say, Tom?
Yeah, he says, I don't think I'll be in any rush to purchase a next-gen console until later in the process when games become next-gen. Exclusives, as nothing I've seen from either is really pushing the boundaries as of yet. With Xbox Smart Delivery, I'll be able to play the new games until that point anyway. That being said, I'm super excited for Hellblade 2, in particular, as the first one was the first game in a long time that blew me away with its graphics, sound, and innovation. I have a feeling that will be a next-gen exclusive, and I imagine that will be my jumping-on point for the generation, along with the Medium. Yeah, that's. I think that will sell a few consoles for the horror fans.
For sure.
Batmore. I've had the same Xbox One for the last 6 years, and I put off upgrading to an Xbox One X in the last year because I knew that it would get eclipsed in terms of hardware. That's a really good point. I feel for those who have bought that one. It's
what
the
the
best
series?
One you
what
can get.
The One X?
One X, yeah. It felt like an unnecessary leap, especially with the new ones coming. So,
I think if you get in your internet time machine and go back, I think there was quite a few Xbox owners that were miffed at the downgrade. There was, because Digital Foundry, they'll do a comparison video between the One and the PS4, and then at the Pro, and it's Xbox One's looking a bit creaky, and a lot of these launch consoles probably sweating more than a Marine in a spelling test. So, the Series X, a Pro edition or an upgrade edition, the Pro name I'm not taking from the PS4, I'm taking from the iPhone Pro or whatever it is, where you get that one that's that bit more powerful. Is that the way the industry's growing? Maybe. The Series X.
Yeah.
If you're into your games and you've got the spare cash, fair enough. You knew that the new console was not going to be that far away. I think you kind of knew what you were getting, and maybe those that got the Series X were hyped.
Yeah, let's get back to his comment. I'm hoping to see a decent lineup of new stuff that's going to make me want to upgrade to Series X. Otherwise, I will stay with my Xbox One for a bit longer, especially if I can upgrade games to next gen for free when I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of, we've said it in the feature, but the way of thought across the wider internet just seems to be people are like, I'm not really that fussed. Really, I'll wait. I can play the game on my One X anyway, which I think it's a very consumer friendly message, but one would almost imagine almost a little bit confusing as well, because are they going to be playable? We saw some Series X exclusive world premiere launch exclusive. That's not going to be playable on your One.
Well,
unless you use Games Plus Ultimate, then maybe you can.
Maybe. Still, like we said, lots of things to be answered. But we've got Retro Gamer Thomas next, RGT.
He's a good man, isn't he?
He is. For me, I hope him for a fantastic Xbox show, because if this journey is a lot closer, it would warrant me having both consoles eventually. I think Xbox really need to put a very good show on, because although people say they don't like exclusives, unfortunately, that's what sells consoles, and this generation has proved that. For me, it'll be PS5 on launch, as I've been all in on PS4. With VR, it's been a fantastic generation for Sony, but if Xbox can persuade me, they're going to have a great lineup of exclusives that will warrant a purchase. I'll maybe buy a Series X as well next year.
Fair enough. Chronicles of Gamer says, my co-host for the Sonic episode, seeing that I've had a PlayStation since the original on day one, and I've only had PlayStations up until this point, I'll never buy an Xbox. I'm excited for what the future brings, and I'm excited for my Xbox friends, but there's literally nothing Xbox can do for me to purchase one. Honest, I suppose, and we did ask for everyone's feedback, so well done for getting in touch, Chronicles. Adam, the artist, comic picture 79, he's obviously had a lot of time on his hands this week. He says, in a new space such as cloud gaming, the market will be highly competitive, and that's only ever good for consumers. As internet speeds get faster, it will make more sense because a data center has greater computational power than a home system will ever have, so all games will be able to run at the equivalent of the absolute maximum that the absolute best PC can produce. Okay. He's right, as always, is our Adam. He's always right. But I don't think I want everything I own to be in a cloud. If that's the way gaming's going, dig out the Mega Drive, I'm happy. Or have we already reached the zenith of as far as I can take gaming with the PS4 and 5 and Xbox One without throwing all my life on the internet? Chronicles comes back in a series of exchanges that we had. Internet companies will have gamers buy their testimonials, especially when it comes to pricing. Licenses will expire or bought out or lose games. The same nonsense that happens on Netflix, Prime, Hulu, Disney, HBO, Showtime will happen with games. I'm inclined to agree with them there. People can't afford knockout internet speeds to catch up, to keep up. I know people, including myself, who has a lot of streaming movie services, mostly grandfathered in to watch all types of TV programming and films. Sirius radio was supposed to kill the radio, but it didn't. TV video killed the radio star, Chronicles, if you didn't know that. But it didn't. People could afford to pay for Sirius, so it alienates them. I personally pay £200. Now, this is in America. Things are a lot more brutal for your internet than they are here. Paying £200 a month or $200 a month for cable phone and internet. That's regular speed, not only to watch cable TV, but stream and play online games. The games coming out require a lot of speed, and I don't know if people can afford that. And I did see a conversation that went further on, and obviously because we're not in America, we don't understand this because we pay our 40, 50 quid or whatever, and we're happy we get the biggest amount of internet we can get. And it's, an all-you-can-eat buffet. Really, as fair usage applies. So if you're kicking the absolute wheels out of it, they might throttle you back a little bit. But in America, they absolutely pay through the nose. That's just for his cable phone and internet. Then on top of that, he's paying for all these other services as well. America's not a cheap place to live. And to think, now, they're wise, these internet companies in America. And as soon as they realize that there'll be gamers wanting to stream at 4K or 8K, there'll be a bolt-on. There'll be a bolt-on, which will then you'll have to buy to get access to 4K gaming or 8K gaming. So although here in the UK we're like, well, I don't know what the problem is. I just want to pay £15 a month, £18 a month, or whatever it is. I want to get me Xbox Stadia, whatever it is, and I'll be able to play at 4K. And for those with the internet, that gives them the ability to do that, Tom. They can do that. But in America, these companies, if you want a little bit of an extra, little bit of a thing on your bill, they're going to be, they'll be making you sell your grandmother for an extra gigabyte of data. So I think it's absolutely savage. This is the interesting one, Tom. After the event, I have to say, that was quite the surprise. 23 exclusives, including Fable. To be honest, there was a lot. He likes exclusives now, does our Adam? Did he not say he's not fussed about exclusives? Did I read that out? Can't remember now. Sure, I must have. What's he say? To be honest, there's a lot to like. We were misled by the media a little because we thought it was going to be all gameplay. But what they said was there would be Halo gameplay. It didn't disappoint. Looks like a return to form. Grounded. Got to agree with Adam there. Grounded particularly looks like a lot of fun. If it's couch, I'm all in. I think we'll see the bigger picture come into focus as we see more gameplay. Again, that's what we need next. Every game on Games Pass Day 1 is huge. We've talked about that. This is an incredibly generous offer. Game Pass is an absolute behemoth. The figures are insane, and it's only getting better. I'm sure Adam's in the Big Phil must be his cousin or something. He loves his Xbox, does our Adam. Retro Gamer Thomas, from what I've seen, I thought it was okay. Some interesting titles. Forza looked awesome, but I've never been a fan of the Halo fan, so it wasn't ever interested to me. So it hasn't ever interested me, but for Halo fans, I'm sure they're over the moon. Yeah, I think they are. I will say I wasn't that impressed graphically with Halo with noticeable pop-in. That's something we didn't talk about, Tom. That did exhibit itself in that.
It was.
I mean, again, if it's a year old,
the brutes looking a little bit like close up, they didn't really stand up, did they?
No, it's a fast-paced game, so maybe we're not meant to look that close. But it's already been, as you say, it's already been memed the wheels off of it. You know, they wanted. If you're wanting to have good news stories, like the PlayStation made the BBC News with their reveal, if I was Big Phil, I'd be like, nah, polish it up more, polish it up more, polish it up, lie like a hairy egg, give them everything that they want to see. But, you know, as always, Big Phil, he's got a measure of it. And let's face it, one of the biggest Xbox fans we've got in the community is Adam. And Adam looked to be absolutely stoked with everything he saw. So in a way, Phil went out happy. You know, we've had our interest piqued with a title or two, so maybe it did the job. Another big fan of the Xbox brand, so let's use him as a barometer. Hey, Tom.
Boba Loba.
What's he got to say?
The showcase was great. A good mix of titles, something for just about everyone. I still don't see the jump step in visuals for the Series X as anything mind-blowing. But I don't think that was necessarily the point of the showcase. The power upgrade doesn't just mean more pixels or more frames. I think a lot of people need to realise that. Knowing I can have a go on all of those games for my Games Pass subscription is a big win, I think. Being able to try games I've not considered before is what makes a subscription. For example, Psychonauts 2. I have no idea what the series is about, but I'm intrigued. I haven't played State of Decay game before either, but the trailer for 3 wowed me. So just treat that State of Decay trailer with a big pinch of salt, because 2 was not really enjoyable game, and I'd recommend you do give it a try.
What was that game you told me about that was Xbox exclusive, where you get like that little robot? You said, "Oh, you'd like that game with a little robot in it."
Oh yeah,
what's that
Recore.
called? Recore. Yeah. That's a franchise that looks to have dropped.
Yeah, it was a shame because
I think you said it had the seeds of a good game in there, didn't it?
Yeah, my mate played it and really enjoyed it, and he said it was very like N64 Rare era-esque, but sadly never sort of got off the ground really, and was I don't think it sold particularly well, so they must have dropped it. He said, closing, he says, also my desire to play Halo again just got reignited.
That's good. So what's our take from that then? The Xbox fans who are all in on the ecosystem and they've got Games Pass and, you know, Beyblade was part of the XBN network. So if anyone's a barometer to whether it was good or not, and I think maybe Beyblade questioned some of his loyalty over the past week. I don't think, or over the past couple of months. I don't think you would mind us saying that at all, do you?
Yeah.
But using him as a barometer and Adam, they seem very happy with what they saw.
Yeah. That's a really good point Boba Loba raises at the end there, just to close out, that Games Pass does just give you the option to still have a dabble. And that's a great thing.
Again, you've got to applaud that. At the minute, it's very reasonably priced, isn't it? And it gives you the chance to download to the console and have a good flick around and play with something. And again, if you like it on Games Pass and you want to express your love for it a little bit more, there's nothing stopping you going out and spending the 50, 30, 40 bucks, whatever it is, on a used copy or a new copy to show your love for that game and have it on the shelf. So try before you buy, maybe. But
definitely.
It's the very ultimate try before you buy. It's almost like... I won't use that analogy. And I won't use that analogy. But you get what I mean. No one's rotasting girlfriends like that, are they?
Let's close the feature right there.
Tom, I don't know what he's been doing this week. I think, as always, he's probably been out getting a load of original Xboxes, spraying them white, because he's the dodgy guy around where we live. Spraying them white, slapping Series X on them, or maybe repackaging them into an upright box with lots of holes on the top. Trying to sell them around the village as Series X's. Did you know he was on with that?
Yeah, I did also. He's been buying up all the Sun newspapers to save Phil's blushes from the scandals.
It's very kind of him, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Kept the scandals
Unfortunately,
on the low
though, the local Spar shop only stocks 3 papers per day, so he's probably not done a great deal there.
Well, at least
save him, but
in the local area, he's probably got away with it. But on the wider stage, he's probably
God
not.
loves a trier.
Anyway, as he tears up my drive the way he always does, those pebbles resonating off those rubber mud flaps in the same way every time. That's what you call, Tom, precision driving. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot, what's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battlefriend All this week. These are the new release highlights for the week July 20th to July 26th, 2020. Listeners, these are out in digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast in your feed, but could be. Tom, listen, they could be region dependent. So I know you over there in the big US of A, you need to just think about, you might not be able to get your greasy mitts on these today, tomorrow, or next week, or maybe I can't, but you can. So there you go. Question for you. What is going to be your VHS pick? You got one?
Oh, that's a really good question.
And
Give me...
Ray ain't got a lot going on in the boot this week, so I'm going to have the second one as my mummy. I don't know what you're going to have as your third, as your mummy. Now, the mummy is the game that we would normally, as a kid, have asked our mumsy for that week. We'd have pulled on our apron strings and begged her for this game. Obviously, Stingray.
I'll go with number 3.
Okay, and obviously, if you want to know more about the man, the myth, the legend that is Stingray, you need to go and listen to our back catalogue. It's there for you to pick at. Into the Radius, out on PC July 20th. Into the Radius is a single-player survival. You'd thought I'd pick this one. I'm changing it. I'm not. I'm having this one. Shooter for VR veterans. Stalk the Petrovsk Radius zone filled with surreal landscapes and dangerous anomalies. Use stealth, climbing, or realistic firearms to explore, scavenge for loot, and recover strange artifacts in an unforgiving dystopian environment. That's my mumsy. Mummy, I want that game.
I'll take the next one then. This is my mummy. Golftopia PC. Design, build, and manage your own futuristic golf course. Keep 200 persistent visitors fed, hydrated, and happy. Or if they're anything like the ones I know, that's going to be a job and a half. Defend your creation from a growing infestation of weeds through robotic workers and defensive turrets. Evolve your course into a mega resort where nobody wants to go home ever.
Wow, okay. Rock of Ages 3, Make and Break, PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and forever will be the most powerful console ever known to man, because they've got racks upon racks upon racks of servers. They've also got a smorgasbord of clever technology which transmits your requests, riddled and hidden amongst people's Google search requests and YouTube videos. That's why your bandwidth has dropped, friend, because the Stadia bad boys are using it all. July 21st. I think if you want to play Rock of Ages 3, Make and Break, Tom, at its highest visual fidelity, you need Stadia.
You don't have to push the Stadia anymore. The contract's expired. We're good.
No, it's not. I got an inflatable ring, red one. They sent it to me, like a Google O, right? They said, that's what you get. You've been so good to us, all right? We're not going to send you a Stadia because you're not that high on our sort of influencer list. If anyone who's working for Google, just listen in. Have you ever heard such a great advert for the Stadia? Competitive tower defense meets arcade action and gets rolled with Ace Team Quirky's Monty Python-esque humor into one giant creative game for the ages. This time around, you can make your own levels. Rock of Ages 3, Tom, looking like one of the most basic graphical games in the boot this week. So I'm sure the Stadia won't even be breaking a sweat streaming that.
Yeah. Carrion is next. PC, Xbox One, and Switch July 23rd. Carrion is a reverse horror game in which you assume the role of the amorphous creature of unknown origins, stalking and consuming those that imprisoned you.
No.
Role reversal.
Well,
with that,
I'm going to slam down, flip it, and my
VHS pick, speaking of role reversal, I'm going to chuck out Halloween. The 2019 film where Jamie Lee Curtis returns, and I think it's actually a really good horror film. I think the way the roles are reversed in that a little is interesting dynamic, and a solid horror movie.
I'm standing here clutching my bokken, so I asked Stingray to get hold of me a copy of 13 Assassins, And that's what I'll be watching.
I checked the trailer out for that because you recommended it to me. So I did have a look and it looks very good. I think it's
awesome.
on Netflix. So
is it?
I think it might be. So I'll give it a watch. Last off, we've got Roki, PC, July 23rd. Roki is an adventure game inspired by Scandinavian folklore, a dark contemporary fairy tale underpinned by a touching narrative, an alluring art style, ancient puzzles, and atmospheric exploration.
Wow. Well, grab what you can, because Stingray, much like fog on a summer's morning, Tom, just dissipates very quickly. Does our Ray? He's gone. We know that other people have seen him outside of the show, so he is real. When Tommy co-hosted, he saw the Ray. So again, it's not a peyote dream sequence. He's actually a real person. So he's very mysterious, though. Some would say he even supplied counterfeit DVDs to King Arthur. Some say that he was Merlin.
I believe it.
Yeah, you better believe it. He defies time. He defies space. He defies logic. Does our Ray? If you want to know more about him, like I say, delve into the back catalogue, listen through a range of amazing episodes. History of the Mega Drive, N64, you name it. But that's and let's face it. If you've got to this point and you haven't thought, what a pair of idiots, hit subscribe, get in the Discord, please, and thank you for your time. We haven't got to that bit yet, Tom. So those that paid attention at the beginning of the show, know at the end of the show, I'm going to crawl down off my high horse, look up to you and say, Tom, what are you hoping to play?
Ghost of Tsushima, that's all.
Very simple. That. Obviously, you've got a game of Warzone written all over you, as if you haven't played the wheels off that game already. So you're desperate to get out the door and go and explore a game you've already literally said you're bored of, but the bigger boys are playing it. So I'm done with this podcast drivel. Tell you what I'm going to play. Let me get a list. Where's my piece of paper? Here we go. Okay, so the first time, I'm joking. Don't panic. I'll be playing Ghost of Tsushima as well. I'll be playing some Farming Simulator. Got some guests coming, so there might be an element of some multiplayer games get played and some retro just for the hell of it, Tom. Other than that, I think I'm about done. Don't think we've got any new games on the horizon, certainly from the savage-looking boot that we got delivered up by the Ray. Not much on the horizon this week. So, you done? Said enough?
I'm done.
Stick a fork in him, he's done. And that's all we have time for this week. Listeners, as always, thank you for your time. We'll look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. And remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Tom.
See you, mate.